All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to Ironside Lunch and Learn that we do here every Thursday. We talk about Parashat Shabbat. This week's Parashat is Parashat Vayakhel. The first pasuk opens up like this. It says, "Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat bnei Yisrael v'amar lehem ele hadevarim asher tziva Adonai la'asot otam sheshet yamim te'aseh melacha u'bayom hashvi'i yeh lachem kodesh." What does that mean? It says over there that Hashem instructed Moshe to gather all the Jews, which is the first time he ever instructed him to gather everyone, and to speak and to tell them, these are the things that I'm going to command you to do. And it goes into Shabbat, the concept of Shabbat. It says over there, Sheshet Yamim Te'aseh HaMelacha U'B'Yom HaShavi'i Yeh Lachem Kodesh. 6 days the work will be done for you, and on Shabbat you shall rest. So over here, there's a famous commentary that everybody says, why is the language te'aseh? Why is it said that the work will be done for you? Shouldn't it be that the work will be done, or you will do the work? Why does it say that the work will be done for you? So it's connected to the concept of Shabbat. So the rabbis tell us that the reason why the Torah chose this language is because the way a person keeps his Shabbat, the way he acts, talks, behaves, the way that he keeps Shabbat, that determines how the rest of the week is going to be. In other words, if he keeps the Shabbat properly, the work during the week will be done for him. The success of the work week is connected to how you keep Shabbat. The work will be done, te'aseh. In order to understand that, we have to go a little bit deeper. Let me use a few more examples. How is it possible that the work can't be done for you? What is it that we do on Shabbat that activates this force that you keep 25 hours on Shabbat and all of a sudden everything just falls into place for the rest of the week? So let's get a little bit of history about Shabbat. Shabbat, they call it Ot Hi Le'olam. It's a sign, it's a symbol, it's a covenant for eternity. It's something that Hashem says it's a covenant between Hashem and the world, Hashem and the Jewish people. It's a symbol that will never go away for eternity. There will always be a Shabbat. As a matter of fact, what's the concept of Shabbat? Shabbat is that the world got created in 6 days, and on the 7th, Hashem rested. Right? And when we keep Shabbat, the rabbis tell us that we actually have to activate that concept. On the way to shul, walk and say, Hashem created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day He rested. And because He told me to rest, I am resting right now. And by doing that, you're showing yourself, you're showing your family, and you're showing the whole world around you that there's a creator. You're showing the whole world that Hashem created the world. Because as you're walking in the street and people see you with a kippah and you're shutting down everything for a week, they say, oh, those guys believe in God. That guy believes in God. He's not doing anything on Shabbat. That guy believes that there's a creator to this world. So for the naysayers, right, for the atheists or for the evolutionists that says that the whole world just got created out of chance, the Big Bang, whatever it is, I always say there's a very good question that you can give them. Ask them, how come the week has 7 days? How come the week doesn't consist of 10 days or 6 days? How come? That's a good question to ask. How come the week has 7 days? How come it didn't get changed around to a 6-day week or a 10-day week? Work 7 days, rest 3 days. How come it's stuck, this whole concept of 7? Most people get stumped with that question, and the answer is because there's a creator, and Hashem created the world in 7 days, and since the beginning of time, there's always been 7 days. It has a source. So when you're going to shul on Shabbat and you're shutting down everything, you're testifying. It's like a testimonial. I believe that there's a creator. On the 7th day He rested. I'm resting too. You know, Shabbat, they say, is Mekor HaBracha. It's the source of all the blessings. Shabbat. I use this example many, many times. I heard it many years ago from many rabbis. I think I heard it also from Rabbi Mansour, and I always like to repeat it. If Shabbat is the source of all the berachot, it's the equivalent of somebody coming to you and telling you, tomorrow, say tomorrow is Shabbat, I'm going to open up the bank, I'm going to open up the vault. Bank of America is going to open up for you privately for 25 hours, and go there and take as much money, as much jewels, as much, whatever you see there, just take it. For 25 hours, carte blanche, it's for you. What would you do that day? You wouldn't sleep. You'd bring as many bags as possible. You would not stop taking money out of that bank vault. That's what Shabbat is. I guarantee you on that day, you're not going to tell me, I'm going to go to the beach for a couple of hours. I'm going to take a nap. On that day, you're not going to say, I think I'm going to go play basketball for a couple of hours. The vault is open. If millions and millions or billions of dollars are available to you, you'd be there to grasp it or to grab it. That's Shabbat. Shabbat, Hashem opens up His vault, His treasury, and says, come in and take as much as you want. You know, the 25-hour work week, you know, it says over there, the way you keep Shabbat is the way that Shabbat keeps you. The way you prepare for the Shabbat and you keep the Shabbat, that's how it keeps you. Especially during the week. So if you take the 25-hour period of Shabbat, from Friday night to Saturday night, and you take that and you divide it into 7 days. The rabbis tell us, let's say for example, on Shabbat afternoon, you lost your temper, and between 2 to 3:30, you didn't have the Shabbat feeling, which by the way, on Shabbat you're not allowed to get upset. It's a sin to be upset on Shabbat. He says, if you, let's say for example, lose your temper for an hour and a half on Shabbat, let's say in the afternoon, you better believe that Wednesday and Thursday are going to be a little difficult for you. It could be a patch of time where things are not going to go right. Because however you keep Shabbat is how the rest of the week unfolds. You know, it's Shabbat has a lot of power that you can activate. Many, many times we spoke about time being a time spiral, not a timeline. That there's constantly this energy that's looping around, and there's certain days that you can tap into it. Well, Shabbat is that it has that special energy that comes around every 7 days. Every 7 days, Hashem opens up a special energy force, and we can tap into it. If you're tapped into it and you know it, and you can take advantage of it, great. If not, you're missing out on a very tremendous day. I'll give you some examples of things that are available on Shabbat and are not available on the weekday. For example, when you learn, right? When you study Torah. During the week, if you study for 1 hour, you get credit for 1 hour. Study for 2 hours, you get credit for 2 hours. On Shabbat, you study 1 hour, it's equivalent to 1,000. There's even different opinions that's even more, but we'll just keep to the basic respected opinion of 1,000 hours. That means a person can study the entire year, day and night, an hour during the day and an hour at night, and that still will not equal 1,000 hours of learning. Yet on Shabbat, you learn for 1 hour, it's equivalent to 1,000. Imagine how much power is available of Kedusha on Shabbat. Some of the most powerful prayers are connected to this 25-hour period. In my previous classes this week, I gave the rundown of every single prayer, but for right here, I'll mention just two. Mincha of Friday afternoon and Mincha of Shabbat. Did you know that the most powerful prayer of the week is the Mincha of Friday night? The one right before Shabbat. That Mincha has unique powers. As a matter of fact, the rabbis tell us that on that Mincha, typically what happens in that Mincha, everybody's running late. They come into shul super late, they're behind, because right before Shabbat, it's a lot of tension. And they miss out on the opportunity to connect to this powerful prayer that's available once a week. But if you take some time and you prepare yourself and you show up to shul on time and you give yourself some time to prepare for that prayer, It should sound something like this, where you come and you say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, forgive me for chet, avon, v'pesha. What's the difference between chet, avon, v'pesha? Chet is a sin that you did mistakenly. Avon, you did it on purpose. Pesha, you caused others to sin. So you say, Hashem, forgive me for all the chet, avon, v'pesha that I did throughout the week. Forgive me. And then you also go into being thankful. Hashem, thank you for all the good that you've done to me with my family, with my work, or the success that I've had this week, or even thanking Him for whatever failures that you had, because you know that's building your character. You send out, it's like you summarize the whole week on that particular prayer. You send it up and you ask to come into Shabbat to be able to receive the kedusha and the power and the energy that's available on Shabbat. So try to connect to that mincha before Shabbat. The most powerful prayer of the entire week is the mincha of Shabbat. They call that mincha re'avad re'avin. Top of the line, the best. What's special about that mincha? That mincha is called an et ratzon. It's an auspicious time to have your prayers heard. What's an et ratzon? An et ratzon is that it's almost you saying it's a good time to be heard. It's a good time to send up a prayer. So that in the mincha of Shabbat, it's good to go in and prepare a prayer for that as well. But you don't want to walk in there and tell them, hey, let that deal close on Wednesday. You don't want to talk about making money on Shabbat. This is the time to really think about, if I was a righteous Jew, if I was a real tzaddik, what would I pray for? So do that. The Shabbat is the time to ask for that particular prayer. Hashem, I wish, help me learn more Torah, that I can understand the religion better, that I can feel you, that I can and grasp the concept of whatever it is that I'm learning in the morning or at night, or something that I want to take upon myself. Pray for Kedusha. Pray for something holy. Pray to be holy. It's a good time to pray for that is the mincha of Shabbat. Now, I heard also another explanation to why mincha of Shabbat is a big deal in Hashem's eyes. He says typically the Goyim, the Gentiles, what do after they celebrate, after they eat, after they drink? They don't do anything spiritual. Straight to sleep or straight to eating more. They're constantly connected to the body. What does a Jew do? Right after he eats and drinks and has the most lavish meal of the entire week, he gets up an hour or two later and goes back to shul. To do what? Maybe learn a little bit with the rabbi, pray mincha, seudah shlishit. That's the difference. It says a person that can take himself away from his ta'avot, from his worldly needs and what his body is always telling him to do, and go and try to do something spiritual, you get double reward for that. Hashem says, for me, that's avad harvin. There's other things that you can activate on Shabbat, is the 3 meals. The rabbis tell us the 3 meals of Shabbat, they're very unique. They call it seudata de mehunata. These are soul food. It's actually soul food. It's meals that help you build your faith. For example, if somebody has no emunah, doesn't believe, doesn't connect, doesn't know anything, the rabbis tell us, eat 3 meals on Shabbat. Those meals have the power to create emunah. They have the power to create faith, to believe. Seudata de mehunuta. Which is, it's very hard to sometimes grasp or to understand, but imagine, we have things that we can tap into, things that we can activate that will help you have a better experience as a Jew, to be more connected as a Jew. And one of them is having those 3 seudot. Shabbat also is a great time for rest and healing. One would say that it's understandable, you work the whole week, you have one day to rest, yeah, great concept, right? But as a Jew, you can actually tap into something bigger than that. It's not just resting. Like we said, there's a special energy available in that day. What's that energy? It's energy for rest and healing. Like no other day. If you go to shul on Shabbat, as soon as they open up the ark to take out the Sifrei Torah, what do they see? Prayer for the sick. Give us the name of the men and the women that are sick this week. Why? Because there's a pasuk that says, Shabbat hi milizok v'refuah keruva lavo. That Shabbat is the day to ask or to scream to Hashem for healing, for health, and it's near to come. So again, it's an auspicious time to ask for healing on Shabbat because there's an energy over there for that. That's why on Shabbat specifically we ask for the names of the sick in order to pray for them. Also, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but at one point, like everybody goes to sleep on Shabbat. We try to not sleep for 2, 3, 4 hours because we want to tap into all the things that are available to us that day. But you take a nice half hour, 45-minute shluf just to re-energize for the second half of the day. But if you keep Shabbat for a while, you realize that when you wake up from that sleep, there's something unique. It's as if you recovered from all of last week's ails and pains of workout or bumps and bruises, and you feel like invigorated. You feel refreshed. There's something unique about that Shabbat sleep. You speak to anybody, they'll tell you, what's the sleep of the week? The best nap. They'll tell you it's Shabbat. The guy could sleep for 4 hours on a Tuesday afternoon and he won't feel the same way like on the Shabbat. There's a special energy for rest and healing. For people that are having a hard time keeping Shabbat, or even having a hard time connecting with the Torah and mitzvot, saying, 6:13, too heavy for me, I can't do it. Keep in mind that, by the way, nowadays we don't have 6:13. We have way less. We have close to maybe 100 and change of ones that are really relevant to our days, because some things we don't have with us, like Bet HaMikdash, etc., etc. But and some of us don't even certain things don't even apply. Like there's certain mitzvot that you can keep today, but not everybody can do it according to what life dictates. But let's just say, even though the person says it's hard for me to connect with Judaism, it's hard for me to be religious, the rabbis tell us that there's a shortcut. They said if you want to keep the entire Torah, keep Shabbat. If you can keep Shabbat, if you can shut down yourself for 25 hours and tap into that energy, into that beautiful day, which I think is a very easy thing, they say it counts for you as if you kept the entire Torah. Wow. As a Jew, I would upon myself that challenge once a week, and it counts for me as if I kept the entire Torah. Very easy, shortcut, right? But in a way, it seems like it's a little bit like not fair, right? How come the guy that keeps the whole Torah the whole week doesn't use that same formula? They tell us it's a good. The rabbis tell us that what's good about that is when a person comes and he really taps into the energy that's available on Shabbat and into the Kedusha that's over there, naturally it's going to bring him to keeping the rest of Torah mitzvot. It's going to get you there. You're going to see God-fearing Jews in shul, you're going to start to connect with them, you start to hear some divrei Torah that you're going to connect with, and little by little, the layers, the klipot start to peel away, and you feel more connected to your religion. And you feel more connected to Hashem, and you start to feel the religion, not think the religion. That's just a few tips for Shabbat. During the week, there's another mitzvah that's connected to Shabbat. During the week, thinking about Shabbat and preparing for Shabbat during the week counts as a big, big mitzvah. In other words, you're now walking into Walgreens, you're about to cash out at the register, grab a candy bar. Say, you know what? Shabbat. This is on Shabbat, I'm going to have this candy bar. You're going into Publix, going to the fruit and vegetable section, grab a couple of apples or unique fruit that you haven't seen for a long time. Say, lichvot Shabbat. You go to the liquor store to buy a 6-pack, pick up a bottle for Friday night Kiddush. Prepare for Shabbat. The rabbi says it's a big, big deal to constantly be thinking and yearning for Shabbat. I'll tell you, I caught myself last week. I'll share this with you guys. It's Tuesday. I'm sitting by the computer. I go on Google and I put the word Shabbat in and I go to images. I'm starting to looking at chalot, looking at bottles of wine, looking at candles. And I felt good about it. Felt good. I was like yearning for Shabbat. It's my favorite day of the week. It wasn't like that before, but it developed into that because of everything that comes along with it, what I feel on that day. So yearning for Shabbat is a big mitzvah. One of the things that most people are not aware of is that they think Shabbat is part of the weekend. As a Jew, you know that Shabbat is the middle of the week. It's not the end of the week. And it works like this. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday leads to Shabbat, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is like a wind down from Shabbat. If for the people that learn in the mornings, there's a book called Chok Yisrael, which is like a book that has excerpts of all the different learnings that you could do. And over there, right before you start to learn, it says over there on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, It says, right now we are trying to take from the Kedusha from last week. It's like a wind down from the Kedusha of last week. As soon as you go into Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays learning, it says now we want the Kedusha from the upcoming week. And that's what it is. Where if an observant Jew, you see that's how their week goes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's Shabbat. It's like the highlight of the week, and then we calm down, and we come back again, and we come down. That's what it is. It's not like the weekend. Completely different. Like we said, if you keep the Shabbat will keep you. Sometimes when you hear it as a concept, you say, like, when am I going to get to that point that I feel that I can actually testify that it's true? It starts little by little. I'm going to tell you, when I first started to keep Shabbat, it was a challenge. Where's my phone? Where's the TV? Where, that time I was smoking, where's my cigarette? But after, when I finished one, I said to myself, it wasn't that bad. And I tried it again. I think I did it in the winter when the days were short, or in the summer, I don't know. Shabbat finished at 5:30. It was a good time for me that I chose to start that whole process. And then the second week, and the third week, and the fourth week, and then I realized it wasn't anymore the challenge of keeping it, then it was a different challenge of feeling it. And little by little, I started to tap into Parashat Vayakhel, then having friends that are keeping Shabbat, and we were around each other. And then later on, it just became like, you couldn't wait for Shabbat. Because it was that day that I rested. And then later on, it was not just the day that you rested. It was like looking forward to the Kedusha, the holiness of Shabbat. So it's a process. Everything that I mentioned today, you're not going to go today, keep Shabbat, and you're going to feel it all. It's a process. But if you're willing to get that blessing from Shabbat, it starts this week. May Hashem bless you that you keep the Shabbat, and that the Shabbat will keep you. May Hashem have a great rest of the week and a Shabbat Shalom.